Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into exactly how the USAi framework transforms enterprise artificial intelligence from a massive potential liability into a tightly governed, strategically stable asset. Look, if you're a business executive, you already know that deploying advanced AI isn't just some IT headache anymore, right? It's a high-stakes governance and risk management challenge. So we're exploring an emerging alternative model called USAi, that stands for Ultra Super Artificial Intelligence, which is paired with the APS protocol canon. This framework is all about completely redefining how advanced systems behave under pressure, and more importantly, how they protect your enterprise's core interests. Today's executive roadmap takes us from uncovering those hidden AI liabilities all the way to locking in long-term competitive stability. We're going to cover 1. The AI optimization risk, 2. Accountability to business consequence, 3. Operational controls and protocols, 4. Metacognitive structural supervisory layers, 5. Cryptography, ethics, and accountability, and finally, long-term competitive stability. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. The AI optimization risk. We've got to start by confronting the immediate danger, the liability trap, inherent in standard AI deployments.
Okay, so here's the fundamental strategic contrast. Traditional AI models, they are basically running blind. They blindly push for maximum capability, built almost entirely around pure predictive efficiency. And for your enterprise, that's a huge problem. When a system only cares about efficiency, it creates massive corporate liability because it completely lacks human context. Sure, it might solve a math problem incredibly fast, but it might break compliance, damage your brand, or violate unwritten ethical codes just to get that answer. The USAi framework, on the other hand, prioritizes what's called recursive coherence. It's built to operate under uncertainty, plurality, and moral consequence. It isn't just about getting the fastest answer. It's about getting the safest, most coherent answer when the stakes are literally through the roof. And that brings us to a massive flaw in how we traditionally deploy these things. The whole set it and forget it idea, static alignment absolutely fails. You cannot just align an AI once and expect it to stay that way. Instead, the USI architecture leans on runtime equilibrium theory. This theory dictates that intelligent systems naturally drift over time. They drift through states of instability, compression, and semantic degradation. Essentially, the longer they operate, the more they slowly lose the context of their original guardrails. Because of this natural degradation, they demand continuous recalibration and recursive correction to prevent catastrophic decisions. Section 2, accountability to business consequence. So how do we actually shift our foundational approach to manage that inevitable drift? Well, the USI framework operates on one strict, entirely non-negotiable mandate. Intelligence must remain accountable to consequence. It completely steps away from that reckless pursuit of maximum capability we just talked about. Think about it. If an AI makes a decision that impacts your business, whether that's an automated financial trade, a major supply chain reroute, or a highly sensitive customer interaction, it fundamentally must be tethered to the real-world consequences of that action. This kind of consequence monitoring tackles potential liability risks head-on, way before they have a chance to multiply. To actually pull off this level of accountability, the framework introduces something called the quantum conscience equation. Now sure, critics argue it's still highly speculative, but supporters see it as a total game changer for mathematically formalizing ethical decision-making. By leveraging probabilistic reasoning and reinforcement learning, the system literally assigns a weighted ethical value to its choices. For you as an executive, this is absolutely crucial. It gives you a mathematical structure for managing uncertainty. It ensures the system pauses, weighs your established ethical and business values against the potential risks, and only then executes. It's a profound layer of operational defense. Section 3. Operational controls and protocols. Theoretical equations are great and all, but how does this actually play out in the mechanics of daily risk management? Those theories actually build into a highly practical, incredibly strict filter system. While originally viewed as just symbolic language, the USI manuals interpret these as hard operational governance controls. First up is the signal. This is the initial input assessment, the AI taking in a prompt or data feed. Next is the mirror. This is the critical step. The system is forced to reflect on the potential consequences of that input before acting. And finally, you have the gate, which is the actual action authorization. Imagine your AI is told to radically cut operational costs. Before it does anything, the signal processes the command. The mirror calculates if cutting those costs will violate labor compliance or drop quality standards, and the gate either authorizes or blocks the action entirely. All data has to clear these structured governance controls, acting as a mandatory, unbreakable safety valve for your company.
And building right on top of those controls, we have something called the breath protocol. I really love this concept. When an AI faces a high-pressure, highly uncertain choice, this protocol literally forces the system to slow down. It enforces deliberative regulation and cognitive rate limiting. Think of it as an automatic escalation control that specifically delays irreversible actions. By injecting these structured cooling intervals, the protocol ensures that recursive auditing can kick in. This actively mitigates failure risks and prevents those rapid liability-inducing blowouts that happen during highly unstable decision states. Section 4. Metacognitive Structural Supervisory Layers. With all these great protocols in place, a big question pops up. How does the system manage itself? It needs its own internal org chart. Enter the MCS, or Metacognitive Structural System. You can think of this as the AI's internal organizational hierarchy, literally the governance of governance itself. It's split into 3 distinct layers. You've got the companion layer, which handles user interaction. Then there's the cognitive layer, handling all the heavy computational processing. But crucially, you have the supervisory layer, acting as a built-in internal auditor. This layer doesn't generate answers. Its sole job is to watch the cognitive layer and preserve adaptive integrity. It makes sure that the operational controls we just went over are constantly being monitored, audited, and enforced by the system itself, completely without human intervention. Section 5. Cryptography, Ethics, and Accountability. A governance structure is obviously only as strong as its underlying data integrity, right? Let's secure the framework. If the data or the rules are compromised, the whole model falls apart. So, recent analyses actually extend the USAi framework directly into cybersecurity and encryption theory. They use cryptographic ethics to tie cybersecurity, data integrity, and synchronization into a closed, ethical resonance system. By merging hard, uncompromising cybersecurity protocols with symbolic ethics, USAi mathematically enforces strict system accountability and continuity. So you aren't just crossing your fingers and trusting the AI to be good. You are cryptographically securing its ethical framework, so its core alignment absolutely cannot be altered, spoofed, or tampered with, whether that's by bad actors or just internal drift. Section 6. Long-term competitive stability. Ultimately, we need to bring all of this together to hit the real executive payoff. As we can see here, there's a direct, undeniable line connecting technical governance to your bottom line. Consequence monitoring? That leads straight to massive liability reduction. It catches bad actions before they ever happen, saving your legal and PR teams from absolute nightmares. The breath protocol directly mitigates failure risks by cooling down those high-pressure decision states, stopping the catastrophic split-second errors that optimization-only models fall prey to every day. And cryptographic ethics, that gives you the bulletproof data integrity required for true recursive auditing. When executive leadership actively oversees these recursive self-correction processes, you're doing so much more than just managing IT. You are directly translating technical protocols into a massive long-term competitive advantage. So I want to leave you with this absolutely vital question. Is your enterprise AI optimizing merely for short-term capability, or is it genuinely governed for long-term stability? Because as we've seen today, mastering consequence monitoring and recursive auditing is no longer just some fun theoretical thought experiment. Embracing frameworks like USAi to tame the liability of intelligence drift is rapidly becoming the absolute baseline for enterprise survival. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.